edged forward again and gobbled up the cheese. The poor thing is starving, I thought. I broke the rest of my cheese into pieces and dropped them to the ground. The cat ate it all, then looked up as if hoping for more, but he didn't meow again. I wondered why the cat had meowed in the first place. Had he smelled the cheese from so far away, or had he smelled me and taken a chance that I would feed him? When the cheese was gone, the cat washed his whiskers, then turned and went into the woods. He walked away slowly and looked back once before he vanished into the undergrowth. I put a bookmark in my book and laid the book on the floor beside the pillow. I closed the shutters on the windows, climbed down the ladder, and hurried home. The house smelled like chocolate. Aunt Ethel stood in the kitchen, frosting a layer cake. "That smells wonderful," I said. "It's your new welcome cake. Did you see any deer?" "Yes, and I saw a starving cat." "Fleas and mosquitoes, not another stray." "I fed him some of my cheese." "Oh, don't do that again. Feed a stray cat and it'll hang around forever." "He was hungry." "Plenty of mice in the woods." "He acted scared and he didn't have a collar on. Do you have anything I can feed him, like a can of tuna?" "No, I don't cotton much to cats. Florence was the one with the soft heart for critters, always feeding some stray cat or taking in a lost dog. People dump animals out here, you know, put them right at the end of my driveway and hope they'll live in the woods. I wondered if someone had dumped a peacock." "Would you drive me to Carbon City?" I asked. "The market might sell cat food." Aunt Ethel swirled her knife through the frosting, smoothing it across the cake's top. "Feeding that cat is not a good idea. Mom says we should be kind to all creatures and help them when we can. It wouldn't be a kindness to make a cat dependent on you for its food. You'll leave at summer's end and the cat will starve. But then maybe I can find someone who wants to adopt him." I don't want a cat coming around bothering Florence. I realized Aunt Ethel didn't want to help the cat because she feared it would hurt the peacock. "I could feed it out by the treehouse," I said. "It would follow you home." I looked away, annoyed by her lack of caring. First she killed an innocent bat, and now she refused to help a starving cat. The welcome cake looked delicious, but I couldn't enjoy cake when the cat needed food. There had to be some way to help. "Is there a humane society or other group that rescues strays?" I asked. "We tried to build an animal shelter once," Aunt Ethel said, "so there'd be a good place to take the unwanted dogs and cats. Everyone got together, all the small towns around here, and we had a big auction. It was the most exciting event we ever had in these parts, let me tell you. Businesses donated expensive items for the auction, trips, a new car, even 2 tickets to the World Series. Wow, I'd like to win that. Children held bake sales and car washes and put decorated collection cans in all the stores. Lots of folks contributed. Florence and I gave $500 in memory of our parents. Altogether, the community raised $130,000 for the shelter. It could have been built by now, but it isn't going to happen." "Why not?" "Someone stole all the money." "Stole it? How?" "The day of the auction, all the coins were put in one of those coin counting machines and then exchanged for large bills, which were taken to the auction. It was called Cash for Critters, and those who attended the auction were asked to pay in cash. It was a gimmick to see how high the pile of money would be, and it worked. One of the TV stations from Seattle even sent a reporter to film it. People got all fired up when they saw that heap of money grow bigger, and some even threw bills on the pile without bidding. After the auction, the county treasurer and the auction chairman counted the money. Then they put it in bags and took it to the bank's night deposit. Tears sprang to Aunt Ethel's eyes. Before the money could be deposited, an armed robber stole it all. No! How? What happened? As the two men walked from their car to the night deposit, a man wearing a ski mask and dark clothing jumped around the corner of the bank with a gun pointed at them. He grabbed the bags of money and fled. His car was parked out of sight, and he was in it and gone before they could get a license plate number. He never got caught? Aunt Ethel shook her head no. Mr. Turlop, the bank manager, posted a reward for information leading to an arrest, but it didn't help. The money was never found. Doesn't the bank have insurance? Not for money that was never deposited. For a long time we hoped the robber would be caught and the money would be recovered. When we realized it wasn't going to happen, there was talk of starting over and doing the auction again, but most folks had run out of steam by then. We'd given generously already. It was hard to get excited about doing it over again, and many folks couldn't afford to give twice. The story made me angry. Aunt Ethel would have to bake a lot of cakes to earn $500. She'd given a donation out of love as a way to honor her parents, and some scumbag had stolen it. So we never got our animal shelter, she said. And people still dump unwanted cats and dogs in the woods. Maybe if I feed the stray cat, I can tame it, and then we can find a home for it. There may not be a shelter to help all the animals, but we could help this one. No, cats kill birds. The peacock, Florence, is way bigger than the cat. Florence? She paused, then smiled. I've been thinking, she said. Ever since you asked what I did as a child, my mind's brimmed with memories. Florence and I used to ride our bicycles down to Carbon City to buy penny candy. We had a big tire that we hung from the chestnut tree with a rope. It made a fine swing. We played marbles, too, and hopscotch, and in the evening when our brothers finished dinner, we all played kick the can. She had a faraway look, as if she saw her sister and brother still hiding behind trees, waiting to dash out to kick the tin can. She'd forgotten all about the stolen money and the stray cat. I think that big tire is still in the barn, she said. Maybe you'd like to hang it in the tree this summer. I'll go look for it, I said. Not because I cared about the swing, but because I was upset that Aunt Ethel wouldn't let me feed the cat. Right then, I wanted to get away from her. I felt sorry about the shelter money and sorry all of her family had died, but I also felt sorry for the dead bat and the hungry stray cat. I walked across the yard to the barn, then lifted the wooden bar that held the door shut. The air inside smelled like stale bread. Dust motes drifted in the shaft of sunlight that followed me through the door. A small, unseen critter scuttled away. Old rakes, shovels, and other garden implements lined up beside the door. I'd seen similar tools in Vermont when Mom and I browsed in antique shops. I didn't see the tire, but I spotted 2 old bicycles, one blue and one red, leaning against the far wall. The blue bike had 2 flat tires. The red bike's tires still held air. I grabbed the handlebars and walked the red bike out of the barn. I mounted it and pushed off, pedaling across the grass. At home, I had a 10-speed bike with narrow tires and handbrakes. These tires were much wider, and I had to practice braking with my feet. After I had the hang of it, I went inside. I found a bike in the barn, I said. Is it okay if I go for a bike ride? I hoped she wouldn't ask where I planned to go. Watch for cars, Aunt Ethel said. I promised to be careful. Before I left, I went up to my room and took a $10 bill from the money Mom and Stephen had given me. You'll need spending money, Stephen had said, in case you go to town. If there's nothing else you want, you can always buy ice cream bars at the Carbon City Market. Or cat food, I thought, as I stuffed the money into my pocket. If Aunt Ethel used to ride a bike to Carbon City and back, I could do it too. And that is the end of chapter 4.